Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Pathfinder Plays, and today I am going to be giving you some beginner tips for Scavengers. Let's get into it. As you all know, or maybe don't, Scavengers is a 60-player per match PvPvE sandbox/battle royale survival mixture. You compete in teams of 3 to find data points, explore the map, survive the harsh elements and the players, and finally extract back to safety. You can choose from various different characters called explorers who all have different armaments and abilities unique to them, which can be unlocked the more you play. When you first start up the game, you will have the option of playing through a beginner's tutorial. Like all tutorials, this will help you learn the basic movements and mechanics and aid you in fleshing out some more demanding elements of the game like combat, objective collection, and more. When you finish playing the tutorial, or skip it because you are too much of a Chad to waste your time with such beginner trash, you will begin your first game. You drop into the map and your first goal is obvious: find supplies. By supplies I mean weapons to fill your 2 weapon slots, which you can switch between quickly, and finally find some scrap. Scrap can be used for a variety of things, such as upgrading your weapons, armor, and other beneficial items in between matches. Some other supplies you will want to look for is food. This might pose a bit of a challenge due to the world having another ice age mixed with a deadly mutagen virus that changed the landscape forever, but it is possible. Look for wild animals to hunt, such as wolves, deer, rabbits, and if you are feeling desperate or brave enough, bears. If you are an animal lover, no matter how deformed they may be due to the virus, you can always search for berries. Food is important for replenishing your stamina. Stamina is going to be used up when you run, sprint, or get into melee altercations. Food, gear, and stamina are not the only things you will need to keep your eye out for when on this disastrous world of a playing field. You will have a temperature meter that you will need to monitor to make sure you are staying within healthy levels. Like I have said previously, the world is suffering from a new kind of ice age, so cold temperatures and winter blizzards are the norm. If your meter I mentioned earlier drops dangerously low, your health will begin to decline as well. Your health doesn't just drop like normal though, it freezes over. For those of you who have played Hunt Showdown, the mechanic is similar to when you catch on fire and your health slowly burns down and turns to ash. It can be replenished, but it won't do it over time until you fix that issue. It is the same here. In order to thaw your frozen health bar and begin replenishing health again, you need to raise your temperature. You do this by finding buildings, fires, consumables called thermal boosts, which raise your core temperature, and vehicles. Though vehicles can't stave off the cold forever, they are drivable and can be used to get you somewhere safer quicker. Like all games that focus on the PvPvE and extractions, the border of the map will eventually start closing in on you. This border is a deadly storm that will decimate all things in its path, so pay attention to it and don't get caught in the cold. As mentioned earlier, you will have different PvE encounters like hunting different wild animals. Some harmless to you, but some not. However, the wildlife is not the only NPCs you need to worry about. Scavengers is home to a variety of different factions that, instead of agreeing to escape Earth with others, decided to stay and reclaim the wild wastelands that remain. There are 3 different factions that you will need to contend with. Firstly, you have the Outlanders, who are the remainder of humanity on Earth. They are primitive, hostile, and hate outsiders such as yourself. The second is the Scourge, who are organic life forms of various types who have been infected by the virus I mentioned earlier, whose sole purpose in life is to spread the disease and kill all other life forms wherever it may shine. The third faction is the wildlife itself, which I have already covered. It is quite possible, even probable, if I may be so bold, that you will die to one of these 3 factions at some point. So something to note when you die is that though you are down, you are not out. Your body will begin to be cloned and will rejoin your team once that process is finished. However, that process takes time. So if your team dies while you are being cloned back, the game is over. If your team is surviving and the cloning finishes, it's game on. Your character is called an explorer. You and 2 other explorers will team up to face all the dangers I have mentioned up to this point. Each explorer is unique in their battle style, armor, weapons, and abilities. This means that a diverse team is a strong team. Find people with different focuses in combat to be ready for any situation, whether that be animals, the Scourge, or other players. The kinds of explorers you can select fall into 4 distinct categories, which are defensive, aggressive, movement, and utility. Each category can be customized to a degree, so feel free to experiment with different playstyles. When you win matches and level up your characters, you will unlock different recipes that you can use during crafting. These crafting recipes will require scrap to build, so as mentioned earlier, look for scrap around the world and on defeated enemies. Crafting in this game is not instantaneous. It will take time to craft something, and the more complicated it is, the more time it will take. It is similar to how Escape from Tarkov does their crafting system. When you are on the Earth and searching for an escape, scrap, and goods, you will have a map at your disposal. Now, you may notice that a radar sweep will cross the map periodically and that red dots will appear for a time. That is nothing to worry about though, those are just players who are seeking to destroy you and take your data points. But there is some good news. Those storms I mentioned earlier can in fact hide the red dots, thus you, on the minimap. The choice is yours to either avoid or engage these red dots, but remember the choice is theirs as well. Pay attention to the direction those red dots start taking and react accordingly. There are certain hot spots around the world which will inherently raise the odds of running into players. These are faction bases, the evac point, or even in the woods, so if you are worried about a lack of PvP, don't be. So finally we come to the whole point of your explorer being on Earth to begin with, the mission. Why are we here? Well, your mission is to look for points of interest which can hold different valuable goods. The most valuable of all the goods you can find on Earth are called data points. The team that extracts from the planet with the most data points will win the match. But just because you don't place first doesn't mean you don't earn anything. Those teams or players who extract safely and survive their time on the Earth will also get rewards. You collect data points by having a small robot called a keeper around you at all times. The keeper will then scan the data points, but it can be attacked. If it gets hit, it will interrupt the process of scanning the data points and it will need to start over again, causing you precious time. If you are gathering a lot of data points, you will know you are in first place because you will see a red icon on your portrait in the HUD. This means other players can see you and can make their way to you to kill you and steal your data points. However, they balance this by giving the players the opportunity to find locations called banking sites. These banking sites allow you to remove your data points from your inventory and transport them mid-match back to safety on Sanctuary, your safe haven. They can't be used all the time, but they can be a real lifesaver, literally. If your whole team is eliminated, you lose all of your data points. The way to escape the planet and go back to safety is through the dropship, but the dropship is your extraction point and will arrive near the end of the match. Expect there to be severe conflict with other players there, but if you survive these battles and extract, your rewards will be severely amplified. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. It is the end of the video. I hope you guys found some value out of this beginner's guide. Check out my Scum and Dead Matter servers in the description below. Join my Discord, and if you like scares, survival, and scavenging, consider hitting that subscribe button, that like button, and share this with your friends. And I will see you all in the next one. Path out.